C'est bon, we are live, tu veux dire?
We're live.
Okay, so I'm going to check if it's clearly in English everywhere.
Yeah, today we are going to have English speaking streaming. Going to speak in English, so hopefully you will understand us.
We are French, so we can speak very good English with a French accent.
No. We don't have accent. We don't. You might have. I don't.
I have a very strong accent from France, but I know everybody loves the
French accent. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a test. In fact, we want to stream in English because we are used to stream
only in French. Yeah. So.
But we want to make a test in order to understand if some other people not able to understand French will join, because today it's in English.
Yep. Yeah, and we are going to look at one of the latest Magnus's game. The game he played recently in this Chessable tournament. So it was a very beautiful game. So we are going to analyze this game, and later, if we have time, maybe I will accept some. I will accept to play against the chat.
Against other players, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are live on. So you say lichess in English, or you say lichess, no?
I have no clue. Sorry. Lichess is fine. Lichess is fine. Let's say lichess. It's easier.
So we are live on lichess. We are live on YouTube. We are live on
everywhere.
Mixer is out. Because Mixer, I don't know why, but Mixer is going to stop streaming now. Mm-hmm. Streaming.
I can disconnect Mixer.
Okay, and there are only 4 persons now, so it's not very good, huh?
Yeah, you need to give them time. They will come.
Okay.
Yeah, so. Maybe when you said that it was going to be in English, they got scared.
Yeah, and everybody with the COVID-19, everybody went back to work in France.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the case in UK. If everybody is at work now.
Yeah, that's also the case.
Okay, perfect.
Hey everyone, joining. So, yeah, English. You have to speak English now.
You can speak French in the chat, but
yes.
If some people are speaking in English in the chat, we will try to answer them in English. Because today we want to, how do you say that, Tiran? Spread
the knowledge.
Spread the knowledge. Chess
knowledge, yeah.
Everywhere. So we are doing that since 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
In France. Tigran, maybe you can introduce yourself to Tigran, no?
Yeah, Tigran Gharamian. I was champion. I was going to say world champion, but not world champion. France champion in 2018. So not the French champion any longer, but we'll see. Maybe next year when we do have the competition, we'll see. So next to me we have a very famous coach Rémi.
Yeah, I'm not famous, but it's not a problem. But you are going.
Yeah, grandmaster, and I'm also a grandmaster, obviously. International grandmaster. Born in Armenia, now live in UK/France. So everywhere, Armenia/UK/France, basically everywhere.
Okay, perfect. People are coming. Enjoy. So today, what's the agenda today? We're going to have a look at one of Magnus' games.
Yeah.
Played yesterday.
Yep, yeah. Good morning. Hi, Serge. Yeah, today we're doing in English, so hopefully you'll be able to understand. And obviously, as Rémi said, you can write everything in French in chat or in English if you prefer. So yeah, today we decided to show you this beautiful game played by Magnus. The game was played yesterday, so it was a quite short game, and he managed to win with black pieces against a very, very talented chess player, this young Daniel Dubov from Russia. He's just a extremely strong player, and he has so many interesting new ideas in opening. So it's always interesting to follow Daniel's games. Yeah.
Creative player.
Very creative chess player. Yeah, extremely creative. So,
and we like that kind of player.
Yeah. That's...
In apprendre les échecs in 24 hours. That's our name in French.
The newbie. Morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
So, analyzing one of Magnus' game, and after you will play Tigran against some of the players in the chat.
Yep. Yeah. So, okay. Well, maybe we start. Yeah. Well, we go.
Right. Can you? You're with Apprendre les échecs profile on chess?
Yeah. I need to invite you, yeah?
Invite me, please. Like this, I can follow what you're saying.
Okay. Once you're online, I'll invite you. All right, Weinstein, done. Okay.
I'm in front of the board, and
hi, everyone.
Black pieces, Magnus?
Yeah, Magnus is playing with black pieces. So let's
flip the board because I like to be Magnus.
Yeah, next time in Spanish. We'll see.
Maybe next time in Spanish. Yes, of course.
Yeah, my Spanish is brilliant. Sergi, he likes your English.
Can speak English like other French, like this everybody can understand us. That's very, very important.
Me too. Yes.
Okay.
Let's start. So Magnus is playing with black pieces, and white is Daniel Dubov. As we mentioned, Daniel, very, very strong and creative chess player, so it's always why he changed. Okay, let me do this again. Okay, so now we have black. So, okay, first move Daniel played d4. So basically, in Daniel's games, you can very rarely understand which line he's going to choose. So he can play d4, he can play e4, so he plays almost everything. Maybe a little bit more d4. So, but basically he just plays everything, and he has ideas everywhere. Hi everyone, hi Spidan. So d4, Magnus goes knight f6, the quite typical development. Knight f3, okay, d5. So we will go quickly in this opening part because it's just so this is the opening, what we call slab defense. Yeah, slab defense, it's extremely solid. So as you can see, black is just defending the pawn on d5. So if you capture, I can recapture and have a central pawn on d5. So which is quite normal. So if you ask me a question why this pawn was not captured, basically it's possible, but it's a different opening. But when you capture the pawn on c4, you may at some point let your opponent get the center with e4. Not now, obviously, because you can capture the pawn, but maybe later on white can slowly organize the move e4. It's not always happening, but it could be. So basically this is a good move.
Okay.
Also a good move, let's say like this. So Magnus goes c6, very solid move. And I think he in the tournament he was leading the tournament, so it was probably just a good idea for him to play a solid game, solid system. White goes knight c3. For example, now if you capture, you need to know the theory after the move e4. This is very impressive, you know.
And you can protect by b5 and stuff like this, but it's a very long theoretical.
Yeah.
Huh?
You have to go b5, and this is a very crazy line. So, yeah. So, but it's clearly playable for white and also for black. Magnus goes solid move again, e6, and this is what we call semi-Slav in French, and it's everywhere. Semi-Slav, I think it's in French or in English, so it's basically the same, semi-Slav. So keep all the options. The only problem in these structures, when you put your pawns on light squares, your bishop is not very happy. Yes,
the light square bishop from black
side,
has no real future.
Basically, you want to develop at some point the bishop, and you struggle a little bit. This bishop can find a good square on e7, a good square on d6. Sometimes he can go to b4 to pin. So basically this bishop will be developed. You have no problem with this bishop's future. Usually this knight comes to d7 to support his friend on f6, something like this. And you do have the plan with b6 and bishop b7, or even bishop a6. The idea is to develop that bishop with d takes c4 when opponent already played the light square bishop. So you can also go d takes c4 in some positions. It's definitely possible. Make him lose the tempo. Definitely possible. So the line you would like to see when you're playing as black, something like this. You can recapture with your pawn, and now your bishop can be developed very, very easily. So this is quite good for black, let's say. Obviously, white is completely fine and playing for advantage, but black is solid. So white says, no, I'm not going to capture. I'm going to play a very strange move, g3. This move exists. The main move here could be, for example, e3. If you capture, this bishop captures, very normal. Only drawback you can see when you play e3 is, maybe you ask yourself, I don't know, maybe this bishop could be developed. So instead of e3, you could also play bishop g5. This is one of the most complicated lines you can have, which could be called you can go for Botvinnik, anti-Moscow. So this is crazy lines. So usually we want to take towards the center, but in that case, Spidan, that's exactly the case. So for example, bishop g5. There are very crazy lines like this when white just pushes this bishop away, and then he captures the pawn, and he tries to maintain the advantage, material advantage. Or he can also capture this way, so it's then white can go e4, g5. This is just a mess. b5, and you tell to your opponent, okay, basically I'm pawn up. So white is happy with this central pawn structure.
Okay, so I've just created a new command, and to welcome people from the English. Tigran is an international master. Max hello 2680. We usually stream in French, but today we want to spread to international audience. Ça se dit, international audience.
Audience, why not?
So we analyze in English, and we will play against everybody at the end. Voilà. Everybody at the end. And how many international grandmaster French? I'm going to count them, and I will give you the answer, and I give you back the lead, Tigran, with the Magnus game, and I'm going to count how many grandmaster.
There are a lot of them. So, okay, e6, and yes, Fidan, you go ed to open the bishop. Yeah, that's the point. So, okay, let's go back. Daniel goes g3, very very good move. So basically, he says that if you capture, I'm going to give you that pawn for some time, and I'm just going to go for the development, and I'm hoping that this bishop is well placed on this diagonal. Yeah, Gharamian. Yeah. Okay, so Magnus goes knight d7. This is also very typical. Just you develop the most knight your pieces, so you don't have a great square for this knight. So if you go to a6, it's not ideal. The ideal square would be knight c6, but obviously you cannot go there. So basically you go knight d7. So ideally, yeah, you want to go bishop b6, bishop b7, or bishop a6, something like this, just to complete the development. Daniel goes bishop g2, and yeah, at any point black can capture the pawn and saying that, yeah, I am pawn up. But again, this bishop is going to be extremely strong on this diagonal, and already here you can see how hard it's going to be for this bishop to be active. So Magnus didn't go for this d takes c4 line. He goes for just normal bishop e7, just completing the development. Castles. Okay, so we get a very interesting position. As you can see, black is very supporting the pawn on d5. This is a very well defended pawn in the center, and his only, let's say, minor issue is with this bishop. So this is going to be his next step, somehow to find a good square for this bishop. And black's probably another small problem is you have a little bit less space than your opponent, which is quite normal because your opponent had the opportunity to push his pawns a little bit further, so he has more space. But you're going to fight against that space advantage. So this is already surprising. So I really don't know about this move b3, which is probably a good move, but I have no knowledge about its theoretical value. So basically, it defends the pawn on c4 and maybe also enables you to develop the bishop. So, what do you think about all this, Rémi?
I'm not following at all. I'm trying to check if we are live on English-speaking platforms or not. So can you please, Mr. the teacher, repeat your question, please?
So I was asking you about how would you evaluate this position? Would you take white or black, and why?
I'm going to take black because it's Carlsen, but I don't like that kind of setup for black. In fact, in my own games, yeah. So I will, if it's just to pick a side, I will pick white because it's more common for me, that kind of position for white, and I feel very how do you say that, oppressed.
Yeah.
With a lack of space, of breathing, with the or a lack of space, lack of breathing, on the black part. Yeah. But as I know it's Magnus, and as I know he will win this game, maybe I can take black also.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, I know your style. You usually have your bishop on g7. You like this fianchetto, having this active bishop on this diagonal. So it's very rare to have a bishop e7 for you. So yeah, it's basically you have a little space, but you're solid. So yeah. And how to respond to b3? Yeah, it's an interesting question. So for example, I think the move played by Magnus is definitely, I don't know if it's the best, but it definitely makes sense. So yeah, now taking on c4 makes absolutely no sense because your opponent will recapture, and he starts having even more space. Yeah, he has more space, controlling all these important squares. then maybe he can even push e4, and yeah,
And you still have your problem with the light square bishop on c8. So
yeah, that's true. So this is not ideal for black, and usually when you play e6 and c6 with the idea of supporting, you should be always careful when you capture, because once you capture, these two pawns look a little bit strange. Because they wanted to support their friend, and their friend left. So it has to be a little bit, shouldn't be a very quick decision like d takes c4.
Okay.
We should play e5. Yeah. Playing e5 could be a good idea for black, but as you can see, it's not at all easy to organize, because the pawn is covering, knight is also covering the square, and it's not easy at all for black to control the square on e5. And we could also see this bishop coming on this diagonal, so yeah, not easy. Have we ever played against Magnus? We played against Magnus online, not in a real game, no. So b3, Magnus goes b6, which was more or less the plan I was mentioning. This bishop will be hard to develop on this diagonal, especially with our knight here and the pawn. So the choice of trying to go on this side is very natural. So once this bishop is out, maybe we can use the rook, and ideally this bishop, once it's here, we want to go maybe c5 also. C5 is also a very important move to free a little bit black's position. Dark square bishop is on. So b6, rook e1. This is also very okay. I will not say strange, but I struggle to understand clearly the idea. Probably Daniel wanted to push e4. Yeah, maybe that's the case. So it cannot be a bad move. So the question is this e4 a strong idea? So because usually this rook e1, I've never seen rook e1. So I would probably assume something like bishop b2, a natural move. But again, Daniel has some other ideas. For example, if he goes b3, it doesn't automatically mean that he wants to go bishop b2. Because this bishop, as I showed, he could also go to f4, so he keeps all these ideas. Is h6 wrong? The question is, why would you play h6?
To avoid bishop g5 or knight g5 maybe, but
okay, the bishop g5 is not that dangerous, because if he comes here and trades, you can trade back with your knight. So let's say
you have more space.
Yeah, he plays bishop g5. You can play h6 now, and if he captures, you recapture. So this is acceptable. Yeah, and you do win the pair of bishops for no reason. Basically, you don't make any concessions here. So okay, so let's go here.
So rook e1, yeah. But it's not clear for you when you look at the first the first place to the game why the rook e1 was played.
Yeah, maybe Daniel saw that this bishop might also come to a6.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe he was a little bit afraid that this rook might be attacked at some point, so that's why he removed this. But this is too deep. Magnus's opponent is Daniel Dubov, this young Russian, very, very strong and creative chess player.
Genius. Yeah, you can say
genius. There are very few geniuses. You have Ivanchuk, you have Magnus, but Daniel is definitely strong and very, very creative.
Okay. So black played the bishop now?
Yeah. So basically, we're looking at this at the game which was played yesterday between Daniel Dubov and Magnus Carlsen. Magnus is playing as black. So Magnus goes bishop a6. So he puts some pressure on this pawn.
Okay.
In case of capture, let's say white captures, usually, as you remember, I mentioned this way, yeah? But now, this bishop can no longer be developed here. Maybe we could recapture this way.
And play on the C column.
Yeah, C file will be for our rooks. This bishop is nice. So this is very, very nice for black. And this beautiful bishop, which is always a strong piece, starts to feel a little bit alone here. So maybe this bishop is not that active anymore. So this c takes d5 is definitely not a good thing for white. Yeah, this is a beautiful game. Yeah, that's for sure. So now Daniel goes knight d2. Idea obviously to support the pawn.
Protecting the c4. Yeah.
And also opening the bishop. This is also interesting. And
I'm preparing preparing e4.
Yeah, I'm guessing he prepares e4. Could he have played e4 immediately without any preparation? So that's a question. So I'm trying to ask some questions to think about it.
Take twice on c4, no?
Yeah, this does not look good for us. Yeah, let's trade just on e4, and then we'll discuss. So this is not good. Now you can see this bishop is very, very passive. This pawn on c4, well defended by his friend on b3. This is not good. And this bishop starts, it becomes a very, very, very powerful piece. And this rook could be also sometimes very tricky to attack us with rook g4 in some positions. So d takes c4 is not good. So you mentioned d takes c4, yeah, Rémi?
Yes, c4, yes, twice.
So, okay.
Twice if you recapture.
Yeah, if you recapture, that's the question.
Maybe you are not going to recapture. I know you. You're
bishop f1, maybe bishop f1. Yeah, Dylan Gaming, yeah, maybe bishop b7 at the end, but still the position looked very, very promising for white. Yeah, bishop f1 is good. Bishop f1 and the pin is very, very annoying. You obviously cannot play this move because of this.
Okay, but I can play b5 maybe, no?
Yeah, you can play b5. b5, now I can probably capture, and if you recapture...
My pawn structure is not very good.
Yeah, exactly. I can probably go knight d2 and maybe at some point capture the pawn on c4.
But that's what Daniel Duboff played, e4, or not? It's just a variation.
No, I think the problem with e4 is the fact that this knight is not defended, and this knight is a very important piece. And then you can go, for example, bishop b4. This is annoying. Okay. You go bishop b4, obviously attacking the knight, which is not defended, and once white deals with this attack, for example, bishop d2, you can eliminate this knight and then safely capture a pawn. So this is just pawn up for black. This is not good at all for white. So that's why this e4 is not ready yet. So Daniel goes knight d2. This is very typical in this position.
Knight d2 first. Okay.
Yeah, you prepare e4, you support, and you open the bishop. Okay, I have no way how to make these errors. So, and also, after once we analyze this game, I will play with some of you. You can challenge me later. Yeah. So, next move Magnus goes is, to me, is very, very logical move. Rook c8. So this rook will be very useful on this file, and also this bishop will no longer attack the rook in some positions. For example, if you go dc, bc, you could never play c5 because of this attack. So that's why Magnus removes this rook, which could have been attacked by this bishop. Now he will have the ideas with c5 at some point. So yeah, black's position is still a little bit passive, but slowly he's organizing the move c5, which will free their position. Yeah. So let's continue. Daniel goes bishop b2.
Tiran, the game yesterday, it was
Rapid, yeah.
Rapid, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes?
15? I think it's
15 minutes, okay.
If maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's 15.
But that kind of position, it's still theoretical, or they play it very, very, very fast?
Yeah, more or less fast, but okay. Other than this rook e1, I think this could be theoretical position.
Okay.
I just don't know about this rook e1, so... But it's a normal position. Black is a little bit passive, but he's trying to organize the move c5, and white is trying to go e4.
Okay.
Yeah, so... Okay, so last move, white goes bishop e2, and Magnus goes c5. So, yeah, usually in these positions, if black is able to play this freeing move c5, he has a very good position. And... actually, it feels already that black is doing extremely well. You're already putting pressure on white center, and this is a very funny position. Then everyone can capture a pawn here, so you need to think about this position a little bit. For example, if white decides to capture this way, he has to be careful because black can capture the pawn and attack the knight, so this is not ideal for white.
And you will be able to recapture on d5 later.
d5 later, yeah, that's true. So this is not ideal.
Okay.
So which means that this attack is extremely important.
Okay.
Yeah, 15 plus 10 maybe, yes, be done. So Daniel decides to go for this capture, d takes c5.
And can you push the pawn or no?
d4 here.
d4 plus after b takes c5.
Yeah, interesting. Well, let's discuss about. So this is interesting. So your idea, you want to attack and then recapture with the pawn and have a fantastic pawn on d4. Yeah.
Yes, that's my idea.
Okay. So let's try to calculate whether it's working precisely or not. It looks good. It looks good.
Tell me I am improving Magnus play. I can dance. I can dance.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting d4. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So okay, let's consider some moves for white. So I'm thinking about moves like c6. I have no idea whether it's a good move or not, but obviously you have to calculate. Or some knight jumps here or there. So let's calculate c6. Okay.
c6 I can take 1, 2. You have to calculate precisely.
You need to calculate.
If I take on c3, you take on d.
Wow, this is
7.
Yeah, you have to take on d7. This is a very funny position.
b2 or
maybe d2. Yeah, maybe d2. It's
b2.
Yeah, you have a choice here.
What is the difference?
You do. You take. Yeah.
Right. And if you take my rook, I take your rook, I do check, and I take back, and I got a one piece.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Check. You have to take and takes, and if we count the pieces, you knight up, which is a very, very good thing. So c6 is not working, so we go back, but obviously you have to calculate. What can white do here? Jump. Okay, jump, but then you capture. I really like your position.
Take on c5.
Yeah, and this is a powerful pawn. Now this bishop is a little bit passive, so this is good. This looks good.
I'm tranquillou.
Tranquillou.
That's a French word.
And if you go here to attack my pawn, okay, this should be the problem. This is why Magnus didn't play this move, I think.
I take on c5, huh?
Okay, I capture a pawn. I see a pawn. I capture a pawn. Pawn is pawn. Yeah, you have a very, very strong pawn on d4, but
my rook is hanging. I play rook c7.
Yeah, but okay, knight c6. So this is not good.
Not good. Okay. Can you take back a little bit when you play knight b5?
Yeah, knight b5 is a very, very good move. Yeah.
And if I give my bishop pair and take back, it's not good, huh?
This, and this.
Maybe with the knight, or maybe with to keep the.
Yeah. Okay. The problem here, this bishop is so strong here. At some point he will come here, and yeah, I think this bishop is too strong for you. Okay, it's an interesting position, but I would definitely prefer playing as white here. Knight c4, knight d5, knight c6. So the square c6 will be hard to cover.
Okay.
So yeah, this is definitely good for white. Yeah, he has double pawns, but the one on b5 is a very, very strong pawn because it covers us. Can you imagine this knight landing on c6? It's a big problem.
Okay, so maybe it was not a good idea.
Yeah, and if you capture with a pawn, the issue is more or less the same. White can go maybe knight c4, and then again the c6 square is hard
is awful. Okay.
Yeah, if you go here, I can go here.
Okay,
and then...
okay, it's clear.
No, but okay, we need to understand all this. It's not our game. We have so many questions. So that's why d4 is probably not the best move. But again, it's a rapid game, but Magnus calculates and understands these things perfectly. So that's why it's always a pleasure to look at his games. Yeah? So knight c5. Okay, this is also a very, very natural move. You just activate your knight, and you're trying to say to your opponent, I have very good pieces here. Huh?
But that means that if I am calculating correctly, you can finish all the exchange with isolated pawn on d5.
Yeah, and probably this should have been played by Daniel because he played before in the game. Not entirely sure whether it's a good move, but c takes d5 is definitely interesting. Right, bye. Spidan, see you. So c takes d5 is definitely an interesting move. Yeah, that's really strange why he didn't play this move. Wow. Yeah. So because if you go e takes d5, you will have an isolated pawn, which is not always a big problem, but okay, if you get to push, maybe you're fine, but I think white can...
knight f3, knight d4,
knight d4 yeah.
It's a good blocker.
Yeah, this is completely fine for white, but maybe black is happy as well. Yeah, so maybe you just play knight ce4, starts attacking the knight, and now you have ideas like bishop c5, attacking the pawn on f2, or even bishop b4 using the pin. So this is definitely also a very acceptable position for black.
Okay.
So knight d4, and I think black is completely fine here. So yeah, I think Daniel should still go for it, but ed is fine, definitely fine for black. Okay, b4 is a very concrete move, so he wants to remove this knight and maybe play c takes d5 later. So that's the point. And it also gives him ideas like queen a4, let's say knight d7, and then you could consider moves like queen a4, attacking all this stuff here. So probably we should start with c takes d5 first, and then let's say ed, and now this queen a4 could be interesting. So queen a4, queen a7, those are attacking the bishop and the pawn. So this is a little bit annoying, I think. Okay. But Magnus goes for Magnus goes for knight e4. This is a very, very strong move, I think. So this is probably, I don't know, I shouldn't say Daniel missed, probably he didn't miss this, but it's still very, very strong. And now you don't have the opportunity to play c takes d5 anymore because I can capture.
There is a problem on c3, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this is a bad thing. So this knight is annoying. So Daniel decides to capture, and Magnus recaptures with the pawn. So by doing this, he just removes this pawn, central pawn on d5, and he says to his opponent, you know what, maybe your pawn is weak. And let's not forget that this pawn also is attacked. So basically, pawn structure on queen side is under severe pressure. So if you decide to do this, for example, I think I could just trade, and then calmly collect this very weak pawns. Though the first one will fall here, attack the rook, and the second one probably, and second one is this one. The c4 pawn will be lost quite immediately, maybe even just simply bishop takes c4. So this is just a bad position for white.
Okay.
So Daniel goes for b5. So this way he removes the pawn which was attacked on b4 and also attacks the bishop. Magnus plays
but
bishop.
Now you've got a fantastic square on c5 for the black pieces, no?
Yeah, exactly. For the knight, for the bishop. So it's basically a fantastic square for your minor or even strong pieces, And also this pawn is a very tricky pawn. It may look like a weakness, but it's probably not. But okay, for the moment this bishop is a little bit blocked by this pawn, but this could also easily become a weakness if you're not very careful. So in the game, Daniel goes e3, with probably the idea of just slowly moves like queen c2 and try to capture the pawn. Magnus goes bishop b4. This is very, very annoying. This is a very strong and very annoying move. Bishop b4 attacking the knight, and from this moment he's going to put enormous pressure on white's position, and you will see how it will be immediately lost. So this attacks obviously the knight and also the rook behind.
Okay.
And you cannot move the knight because you lose the rook. Obviously this is not good for you. And the problem is you have to defend this knight and you have to make this a little bit ugly move, rook e2. So yeah, this rook is not ideally placed. But again, it's not obviously the end of the world, so you are still threatening to remove the defender and this pawn will be lost. For example, if you do a normal move, okay, it's a bad move. This pawn, this knight can be captured, and then and now you just lost the pawn on the central square. So, which is why this pawn, as I mentioned, could be a very strong pawn or also weakness.
Very weak.
Yeah. So, but once you get a very tricky position, Magnus is extremely precise. He goes queen d3. He just says, okay, look at my queen. Obviously, he defends the pawn as well. Hi, Regis. Hello. So, queen d3, defending the pawn. For example, if you go for this, you can say, yeah, you have double pawns, but look at this poor knight. And black is just slowly...
And you can put a rook on d8.
Yeah, this is going to be extremely strong. And this pawn on c4 is weak. If you move your knight, you always lose the pawn. So, for example, I could just capture simply queen takes c4. And once I capture this one, the other one will fall as well. So this is a very, very bad position for white. And you're down in material, so this is not good.
We are analyzing, hello everybody, we are analyzing a Magnus Carlsen game with black pieces against Daniel Duboff, which has been played yesterday. And after, Tigran Gharamian will play with people from the chat, so stay tuned. It's the end of the game we are analyzing.
Yeah, we're very close to finish the game, but it's going to be extremely beautiful, so... English.
Let's go.
So here, queen d3, white goes rook b1. Just obviously you always have to be careful because this rook is attacking the bishop. If you play a very natural move like rook d8, you could be surprised by this move. Bishop takes knight, and if you recapture, then you lose your bishop. So you have to be careful. So, but again, Magnus is a million times stronger to to fall for these tricks. He goes bishop c3. He wants to trade this bishop, and probably Daniel should have traded. Okay, but his position would not be great, but he should still trade because this bishop is extremely powerful. But okay, Daniel is also a fighting chess player, so he wants to, even when he feels that he's worse, sometimes he wants to fight, he wants to create some chances. So bishop a3, attacking the rook. Magnus obviously goes rook d8, and you just have to admire these positions. Look how well coordinated Black's position is. Rooks on these beautiful open files. The bishop is supporting an important pawn. Knight is also helping in defending the pawn. Queen is just dominating, and you have this other bishop already putting pressure on this knight. And white is having some issues with the coordination because rooks are not connected, and this knight cannot go away because then you will just lose.
That means that it's already like
yeah, already
good for black or winning for black, or
maybe already winning, maybe winning, yeah. Yeah, maybe winning. So so Daniel goes rook b3, obviously pinning the bishop, so you cannot capture the knight, you lose the queen. Okay. But I don't know if it's a mistake, but there's this simple queen c4, which Magnus plays.
Oh.
Captures the pawn, and if you do this, you will
lose. Check.
Yeah, and this is just everything. Yeah, everything falls. Yeah.
Oh.
Hi, John. Hello. So this is just lost. Yeah, there's nothing to do, and you lost your knight as well. So Daniel goes for. After queen c4, he goes for queen e1, and here queen d5. This is, yeah, renewing the threat of bishop takes d2. You have 1, 2, 3 pieces attacking, and your opponent has only 1 and 2 pieces defending, which is not enough. And
yeah, he has to play bishop c1.
Yeah, bishop c1 is probably possible, but it's you don't really want to play a move like this. But okay, your position is already lost here, so there is nothing to say. Yeah. He goes for a little bit more, okay, trickier move, bishop b4. And the idea, if you take, okay, white takes, and his position is probably still lost, but at least you're fighting. So
you can take. Oh no, you can put your second rook on c2, maybe, no?
Yeah. This looks extremely nice for black. Rook c2. I was thinking about capturing the second pawn on a2, so I don't know, but it's definitely good position for. Okay, if you take, there could be some tricks with knight e4. So rook c2, maybe again some moves like knight e4 should be at least calculated. So, but again, looks or maybe I just have rook e2 here. Yeah. Okay, this looks definitely very, very nice for for black. So, but look what Magnus goes here plays. So instead of going bishop e4, he does this brilliant sacrifice. Queen takes b3.
Mm-hmm.
This is beautiful. Pawn takes, and just bishop takes bishop. And it's not very often you will see this type of domination. He says, you know what, look at my pieces. Rooks, fantastic. This bishop, extraordinarily strong. This knight is here, this bishop is also defending, and white is on this very, very silly position.
If you calculate, white has an advantage, no?
They have a little material, yeah, almost.
Speaking about the material.
Yeah, but okay, you have a queen, and I have. Rooks. Yeah, I have a rook.
Rooks.
Only one rook and one bishop and a pawn. Okay. it's not that big of an advantage, yeah, materially. So it's fine, it's acceptable.
But how the piece are well placed with a very good action on the pin on the knight, it's already winning for the black. That's what Magnus understood in that position.
Yeah, probably he just says that this knight will be lost.
Because when you sacrifice your queen, usually it's there is a mate or there is fireworks on the board. But here, he's doing a sacrifice on a queen with his queen, but it's not so obvious that he will win directly.
Yeah, but he probably calculated that this knight will be lost in 3-4 moves.
Okay.
Because his idea probably is to play something like Rook c2 at some point to put even more pressure, and if so you attack once, twice, and if you bring your rook, it will be 3 pieces attacking the knight.
Yeah, you cannot escape with the queen, because when you try to escape the pin, you are not the knight anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, if you do this, black is just capturing the knight, and now I have even more material with all these threats coming, so this is just lost.
Okay.
So yeah, you have no square basically.
You have no square.
So again, knight will be lost. So in this position, Daniel goes, okay, position is completely lost, so there is nothing to say here. Bishop f1, and a very, very... this shows how strong Magnus is. So he could probably calculate moves like Rook c2 and... Okay.
That's what I
good. Yeah.
Okay.
But he even improves the position because he understands that his opponent can just not move a single piece, and
I can bring the knight towards f3. No?
Probably it's strong, so it will take some time, but maybe you will be able to bring the knight to f3. No, look at this move. a5.
a5.
Point is, if you take en passant, bishop takes, rook is trapped. Rook is trapped, so you lose. And
so there is no en passant.
Yeah, and if you do not take, he just improves his pawn's position a little bit. Because he knows that his opponent cannot escape from this pin, from this position. And
that it's like not a Zuzwang, but
you just your opponent has nothing to play, so he has to sit and wait.
Bishop g2, bishop f1, bishop g2. That's
so in the game. Daniel goes queen d1, and the next move, Rémi, h6. Says,
no,
okay.
That's the game.
Yeah, this is the game. He says, okay, I'm also trying to avoid some tricks, and Daniel resigned here because he has no good moves in this position. He just has to sit and wait.
Okay, I understand now why you choose to analyze that game today.
Yeah.
Because today we didn't prepare together, so Tiran told me, there is a very nice game from Magnus yesterday. I want to share that with everybody, and in English, please. So now a5 and h6, the last two moves before resigning. You took a big advantage on the board. Yes.
So yeah, Dylan, Magnus didn't only crush Dubov, he destroyed his spirit. Now, probably not his spirit, because Daniel is so strong, so it's not easy to break his spirit. So it was a tough loss, but he will play a good game soon. I don't doubt. But yeah, this is Magnus's style sometimes. So he just creates this beautiful coordination between his pieces, and now you cannot even escape. So this knight will be lost, and I really liked the idea you suggested, somehow bringing the knight to this square. You could just just play very simple, like Rook c2, you know. So
knight g5, knight g4, knight e5.
Yeah, something like this. Yeah.
Knight f3.
Yeah. Well, if your knight comes to f3, this is just game over again. So you can also play very simple, you know, just double the rooks. This is also winning. So once you capture the knight, there is nothing to do for white. And the fact that white resigns is completely normal here. So you have zero chances of surviving in this position. So.
Can you put back the position when he sacrificed his queen to see if it was very obvious to see or not? Knight takes piece, queen takes b3.
Yeah.
It's not so obvious to see. Huh?
Yeah, but the point is, if you're looking ways to keep your bishop alive, because you really like your bishop, yeah.
Yeah.
So
you can
because this pin is powerful, but you don't really want to trade, because once you trade, you don't have this pin anymore. But again, your position is fine. That's why you might consider. And again, it's not like you give your queen for a single pawn. You get a rook, and a bishop. So it's
the bishop, not one bishop. The bishop you want to take.
Yeah. This bishop is extremely important. Yeah, that's true. And then
Thank you very much, Tigran, because when it's explained like this by a grandmaster, it's always a pleasure for us, the little player, to work. I really appreciate. I'm sure everybody appreciates. I'm not sure. Some people are watching us speaking only English. So just before you start to play with people in the chat, I've got a question. Since 1 hour, it's our first time we speak English on that stream. Usually we speak French. You understand that with our accents. We want to try that because maybe we think there are people who are not speaking French that can be very pleased to have that kind of
English.
Okay, open in English for the French, of course, but is there one person on the stream that do not speak French? That's my point.
Yeah, we will do sometimes in English, so mainly we will keep in French, but sometimes we will do in English to have a little bit broader audience, yeah?
If you all are able to... it's not English. If everybody understands French, that means that it's just a pleasure for us to speak English.
Yeah, but we try.
Okay, so is there only one person, a new person that's only speaking English in the chat, please? Tell us. It would be interesting.
Thank you. So
okay, Tigran, we'll start to play.
Yeah,
like
now
what?
It's time. Now you can challenge me. So probably we will play something like 5 plus 3.
5 plus. Okay.
5 plus 3. So you can challenge the if you're part of our team, apprendre les échecs. So
that's on chess.
So challenge this nickname on. Okay, so
from Duncan following us.
All right, so let's accept. So I will accept maybe 3-4 players. So we will will play. So if you want, you can. I'm going to play and try to explain the moves I'm playing. So let's go for the center. This is the usual move I play, e4. So yeah, I'm playing against Prime Leap, sorry. So the Sicilian, so let's go for the main lines, knight f3. So we are going to go for the main lines, d4. Here, this is very fashionable move, bishop b5. The bishop b5 is the move I usually play, but okay, let's go d4. Takes, knight takes d4, so this is very theoretical. So black's attacking the pawn, knight c3. So g6. Okay, this is extremely aggressive. So my opponent wants to play the dragon variation, and I am scared. Okay, let's play calm move like bishop e2. Bishop will come here, I'm assuming. So okay, bishop is here. So I feel there could be some tricks here. So I'm going to remove this knight immediately. Now I'm focused. yeah, I do. So okay, let me castle. So I'm quite happy with my pawn on e4. Not, yeah,
That's
making
one of our
so, what can be done in this position? So I have a little bit more space due to my pawn on e4. Ideally, I'd like to go bishop g5 and then maybe even some knight d5. So we'll see how it goes. d6. This is very, very normal. So one of the ideas is to try to go knight d5, but usually drops the pawn on e4. So that's why I'm going to play rook e1. The idea is to go maybe bishop f1. This way this rook will support the pawn. So let's go bishop f1. Yeah, you have to just challenge and then I'll slowly accept. So the first one I see, I accept. So queen c7. So this move I don't really like because, as I mentioned, so this is going to be at some point played. This move will be played and my knight will most certainly attack the queen. So to me it's a little mistake, the queen c7. So I'm going to follow with my plan, which is to put the bishop here, and I'm probably able to trade this knight and jump with my knight to d5. So this looks quite good for me. So yeah, bishop g5. Threat is sometimes to trade the knight and then get the square on d5. And this is an important square on d5. If my knight goes to d5, I'm very happy. Okay, so h6. So obviously I'm here to trade, so I'm going to trade. My opponent recaptures instantly and knight d5. This is annoying. With this attack, I'm also attacking the bishop, and my opponent did not have time to capture the pawn on b2 because his queen was attacked. So that's why this queen c7 move was probably not ideal. So especially in this dragon variation, this bishop is extremely powerful. So obviously I'm going to trade this this bishop, and by doing this I'm also breaking a little bit his pawn structure. It's not breaking, but yeah. Especially now, this pawn can be
modifying the pawn structure.
Yeah. Now his king will be extremely safe here, surrounded by these nice pawns. But in this concrete position, this pawn was defending the other one, so I'm obviously going to capture something for free.
And what we are teaching to new players or people who want to improve is, when you see a pawn, you can take a pawn. If you do not understand why you cannot take that pawn, take it.
Yeah, you have to capture if it's for free.
Like this, capture it. Like this, if it was not possible to capture, you will learn.
Yeah.
And if it was possible to capture, you have one pawn up. Yeah. You are one pawn up. So that's a good way to see it, not being afraid.
So 5 plus 3, you can challenge me with 5 plus 3. So here, okay, so I can see that I can, like in the game of Magnus, it's quite similar. He went with this queen on this dominant situation, and then he brings the rook. So I'm probably going to do the same. Rook d1, developing all my pieces. So rooks are active, and obviously I'm attacking the bishop. So no, 5 plus 3, 35.
Sorry, that's my keyboard. My keyboard went crazy. d5, it's 5 plus 3 to challenge Tigran.
I did have also knight c5, which was probably stronger. So okay, bishop e6 is a good move.
Or you can challenge with a 3 plus 2 if you want, if you are used to do that kind of time control. But when you start and when you want to learn, it's better to play that kind of time control.
Yeah. So now again I'm pawn up, and I'm attacking the bishop and attacking the pawn. Some tension between these two pawns, and my pieces are obviously better placed here, well placed here. And yeah, my opponent probably thinking about capturing this pawn, but unfortunately these pawns are sometimes poisonous. This bishop will be stuck there. So yeah, the position, black's position is not that good anymore. So slowly, it's collapsing slowly. No, not rated games. We don't. Yeah, we don't care about the rating here. If you want, you can challenge rated or unrated. So it's definitely your call. So again, I can easily capture a second pawn. I am seriously tempted to do so. What can I do? I can also start trading because this bishop is a good piece. So I could technically trade. I think I'm going for a trade, and I really like trading pieces. So I think it's also a good move. All right.
For those who are discovering Tigran, he loves endgames. So be careful, he loves endgames.
So let's go bishop c4. I'm going to activate the bishop now, attacking the pawn on e6, which is pinned because there is the king just behind. So as you can see, putting even more pressure. You cannot choose the time control. 5+3. You should be able to choose. So yeah, black's position is slowly collapsing. I have a little bit more material than my opponent, and the second pawn probably will be lost. And by trading, I'm also bringing the rook. And let's play very simple moves like, okay, I can go for, it's not even very, no, let's, a little bit torn between moves. Okay, let's go for the check. This is probably the best move. Bishop e6. I have to be a little bit careful about this pin. My rook is not defended, so I have to take care of that. So I can see the challenge, so I will accept once this game is over. So king g7 is a good move. So if I'm capturing this pawn, I will immediately lose the game because this will be a checkmate. So
Checkmate on the first rank.
Let's not do this. Let's play just a simple move, king f1, supporting and defending our rook. So next move could be easily bishop takes pawn if I'm allowed, if nothing major happens. I also have threats like rook d7, rook b7, but obviously the position is lost. So knight b4, okay, attacking some stuff here. Okay, I can let him capture some stuff. So I think I'm going with the bishop takes, f5. So he could trade, I'm going to trade. And again, I have more material and I can even have an opportunity to gain even more. Okay, so something you can learn. Knights, when they capture these pawns, sometimes they struggle to come back. And the way this knight can come back is the square on b4, and that's why I'm going to go c3. So cutting the square, cutting the knight from being able to come back. And he takes, obviously I recapture. So this knight is desperately trying to leave, but let's be very, very annoying, playing this move, bishop c2. I'm covering the square. So okay, my opponent is fighting well. King d2, he's trying to save this knight somehow. Okay, this is his struggle, huh? Okay, so basically he has a big problem with this knight, but it appears that he managed to find a way to escape. So let me check him. Yeah, okay, I'm trying to capture the knight in this position, so if I capture it will be much easier. So this check is extremely annoying. Yeah, so he's really fighting for his knight's life, which is very, very normal. So how can I trick him and capture his knight? I can play this move. So as you can see, I'm also trying to catch this knight, so interesting. You could, but Dylan, yeah, you could do this, but okay, knight g1. So this knight will not.
When you are playing against Tigran, it's better not to follow the street at the same time, because you will listen with like 5 or 10 seconds.
Okay, it was a good game. It was a very interesting game, and just quickly.
Not good for you to concentrate.
Yeah, I think Black's mistake was this Queen C7. So, Brian, if you're listening, so next time, this Queen C7 is not good. You could go Rook C8 or even A5, something like this, but not Queen C7. This was not very good. So, okay, let me accept. Play me, yeah, but you just. Okay, I was going to accept you, John, but you have to challenge me because you don't. I cannot see your challenge any longer. So can you? I will wait. Come on, you can challenge me. The moment I was going to accept, it disappeared. So no, you're not challenging. Okay, so
take in the order.
Okay, let's go with the. You'll have a chance to play. So Xeno-Electron. Zogi, you are a Go player. Wow, interesting. So interesting. Not a chess player. So I don't even know, but yeah, I try to play Go and it's too complicated. So Alekhine defense. Let's go for the main line. We are allowed to get a little more space, so we should go for it. Yeah, I could see your challenge, but the moment when I wanted to accept it, just disappeared. So you will have to challenge once more. So the point of Black's play is he's trying to provoke some pawn movements, and he tries to get some squares for his pieces. So I'm assuming this is not the best move. So because I think I can get even more space with this move, c4, obviously attacking the knight. I'm expecting this knight to go here. This is a good move. So if I try to punish my opponent, I could go d5, but then no one is defending my central pawn. So which is why I'm going to play a normal looking move like knight f3. So I'm defending the pawn, developing the piece, and probably threatening to go d5. Okay, d6 is a very, very good move. This is basically the only move. So here I could be very, very annoying to my opponent, or I can play normal game. So that's the question. So, okay, let's be annoying. And in this position, normal move would be just to capture. But there is this annoying move of playing e6. Obviously, this is theory. I do not invent anything new. So this is a pawn sacrifice. If he captures with the bishop, I will have this d5, which will attack these two pieces. So he goes for a move I don't really know if that's a good move, so I need to think a little bit. So d5. So now I'm really tempted to capture the pawn and force his king to come to this dangerous square. But I think before that I will just go c5. So I'm attacking the knight. This knight probably will have to go to c4 because I do not see any other square. This square is covered. Yeah, this is a good move, obviously. I think it's time for me to break his king's pawn structure a little bit. So he takes f7, obviously he's taking back. So now next idea, so I could technically force this knight to go, yeah, I think this is definitely the right move, so b3. So I'm harassing this knight, forcing him to go to this very, very ugly square, but there, if he wants to save the knight, he has no choice. So no choice for my opponent if he wants to save the knight. Yeah, that's correct. So let's develop our pieces. Bishop d3. Next move is probably castle, which I would really like to play. And then I will just follow up with the normal development. So okay, this is a blunder. This.
I can see it. You can check.
Yeah.
And take the bishop.
The idea is correct, but unfortunately it's not working because I have this check. This is due to the fact that this king is extremely badly placed. So I'm checking him and at the same time attacking the bishop. So that's why the bishop g4 was a big blunder, and this is now it's obviously game over. So black's position was already difficult, but there was no point. There was no need to give even more material. So now you have to deal with this check. So you have no other choice. So you have to move the king somewhere. Yeah, and I'm going to just capture the bishop, and now I have very good position and I have more material. My opponent has big problems with his king, e5. Okay, so here I could check him, even though I honestly do not see why I would do that. I do have a check from here. I could just play very simple chess, which is castle, just castle. Let's play simple, castle. So this way my king is safe. I'm going to bring the rook. So yeah, I think this is the easiest move, let's say. Obviously my opponent can capture something, but I don't mind. I mean, I just want to bring my powerful pieces, and I know that I will be able to checkmate him. Yeah, but John, queen e7, queen e6, there he could have played queen e7, not bishop e7. So you have to so ed4. So let's bring our rook in. So now all my pieces are attacking. So this is definitely not far from being checkmate. Bishop e7, and we are going to play the most annoying move, queen h5 check, threatening to.
He cannot castle because he already moved
yeah, that's true.
The king twice, huh?
Yeah. So and just bishop g6. Yeah. Here, do I calculate and do I see the checkmate? If I do not see the checkmate, I'm obviously tempted to capture the rook. I feel like there should. Oh, he resigned. So yeah, the game is definitely lost.
That's the best move, yeah. That's important to understand. When you understand that the game is totally over, you have no counterplay, you have a piece down, or at least you are sure you're going to lose. The best move is to tell your opponent, okay, I am clever enough. I know I am going to lose, and there is no way to change that, so I resign. That's a good move when you start playing and you are playing against a very strong player. It's good.
John,
no, that's not a lack. It's not a lack of fighting spirit in chess. It's more you show your opponent your understanding of the position. That's more like this. You have to see.
Yeah, it depends on the position, but in that position, there was nothing he can do. Yeah. All right. So what's happening here? So we have a kind of Sicilian bishop e7. Yeah, let's go bishop b3. So the plan is to go c3 and d4. So let's go c3 and d4 to get the center. Yeah, d4. Yeah. Okay. So this is fine. So I'm quite happy with my pawn structure in the middle. I have a little bit more space due to that control. My next step should be somehow develop my pieces, and then we will see how my opponent plays here. Yeah. Yeah. The opening didn't go for you. Yeah. So okay, knight c3 would be the most natural move. So let's go for this. This is a natural square for our knight. Next question would be, do I find a good square for this bishop, or so I have e5. Okay, e5 is an interesting move. Whenever I see this e5, whenever I see the pressure on this pawn, central pawn on b4, I immediately realize that my knight is an important piece. So I try to be careful about this bishop g4 stuff. So that's why I'm going to play, this is what we call prophylactic move, h3. because I believe that this knight is a very valuable piece for the control over central part of the board. So I'm quite happy with this h3, which is obviously known. b5. I'm assuming my opponent wants to develop his pieces, so let's finish our development as well. Bishop e3. This way our knights will be connected at some point. So obviously I'm tempted to push d5, but probably it's not the right time, so I have no clue. I'm not entirely happy with the bishop e3 move I made, but okay, that's how it goes. Okay, let's go. a4 should be a move, but I'm always unhappy with this b4 tricks happening. So okay, let's go for the let's close the center with d5. So knight a5. This is obviously a very good move. I think I'm going to. Usually, I really like bishops, so I really think about keeping the bishop, but at the same time, I think it's very slow. So that's why I believe I did not play optimally. So let's do this. So if he wants to capture the bishop, I'm not entirely fine with it, but okay, let's say I would accept that. So if he captures, I'm recapturing with my knight. Okay, rook c8 is obviously a very, very good move. I think I'm going to play something like rook c1 myself. Okay, my opponent is playing decent moves, which is annoying for me. Rook c1. Probably next move would be something with my queen. I do not really like my queen's position here. Queen d7, okay, it's a decent move as well. Okay, I'm struggling a bit, so I could go bishop b6, attack this guy, forcing to make a decision. Let's force him a little bit. So bishop b6. I really want him to take my bishops. This way I can. Okay, takes. So what's happening here? Okay, my opponent is very good. He's playing very, very good moves. He's trading his potentially passive bishop. So, okay, let's do this. Okay, so probably I have nothing. I don't have any advantage or anything. But, okay, let's play on. So, okay, what's happening here? Yeah, I really don't like my position at all. But what to do? Do I go simple a3? Okay, let's go a single move like a3. This is the move, interesting, or some other moves could be played. I have to be careful about this pawn, so I'm going to defend this pawn well. Knight d7, interesting. So my opponent wants to improve this knight. I'm not entirely sure whether it's a good move, but okay, it's definitely playable. Yeah, okay. Don't know what to say. So, alright, let's think. What do we want to do here? We want to improve our position, so it's not easy to do. This knight is not well placed. Let's move it. If he trades, I will recapture. So I'm expecting moves like this. All of them are very annoying. So I haven't. Let's see what my opponent chooses. Yeah, I would really be happy to play this position as black. But okay, that's all right. So he's also quite good. He knows when to think. It's a good thing here, because you have to think when you play a game of chess, and you have to also know when to think. And I feel like he feels that this is the right moment to think about the position. The thing is, if I want to win, I have to trick him somehow, and not easy to do so. Okay, let's go queen d2. Let's go queen d2. I'm trying to control the square, so let's see how it goes. I really like his position, but again, I'm not going to repeat that sentence over and over. Yeah, that's a good move. Knight c5. Yeah. Okay, maybe it's not ideal. Maybe I can. Okay. Maybe this is the first. Okay, knight a5 is an interesting move actually. Knight a5. Yeah. Or I can just play simple by trading and hoping that this is still good for me. I have some doubts about this. Or okay, this is a tricky moment for me. Okay, let's go for this one. Knight a5, attacking the bishop, and my next move could be b4. I'm probably missing. No, I'm not missing any big tactics, but let's bishop a8. So I'm going to play b4. At least I force this knight to leave. Yeah, that's all right. It's not the point of winning or losing. So we're just playing, and I'm trying to explain the way I see the position, and even the moments when I do not like my position. I want to say, this way you can also understand when your opponent likes or dislikes his position. So okay, at least I'm quite happy with this pawn move. I'm going to force this knight to leave. Unhappy about this knight's future for the moment. But I have no clue where to put this knight. So ideally, this would be my dream square for this knight.
And you can challenge Tigran maybe one more game after, or we stop? Oh no, it's already half past.
Yeah. Okay, knight d7 is decent. Okay, let's trade. Rook c1. Let's trade a little bit. Yeah, but okay, that was good. You shouldn't be ashamed of it. It's a game. As long as you learn something after the game, that's the most important. So the rest is irrelevant. So try to learn when you play. If you learn something new in the opening, that's the way it goes. So okay, this is a good move, f5. So my opponent is challenging my pawn structure, and I am scared. I am scared. Genuinely scared.
And for those who want to receive the program and the agenda of Twitch streams, it's in French, but you can register yourself at the link in the chat. Like this, you can have the stream program every week.
Okay, this is a good. I like this move. Yeah, knight capture was probably silly. I should have captured immediately with my queen. I am French. Yeah, usually you get French streams. So, but sometimes time to time we decide to do this. So this is the first time, obviously, but just to see how it would go. So it's an interesting challenge as well for us. So okay, I'm threatening some stuff over here. So my opponent tries to activate the bishop, so that's why he goes for this move f5. And I do have some pressure with the time, so okay. I'm still very optimistic, so let's say it this way. So okay, queen b8 is again very, very good move. Yeah, so what can I do here? So if I capture the pawn, I'm freeing the bishop, which is not something I want to do. I really would like this bishop to stay passive. So I'm going for this move in order to reinforce the pawn on e4. Captures. So this pawn structure is quite efficient way of fighting against this bishop. Now my only problem is linked with this pawn, so I need to be careful not to lose it. Yeah, that's a good move. That's a good move. All right, this position becomes harder to play for me. I have no clue what to do. Literally no clue. I feel like I need to bring my pieces to better squares, but not easy to find them. Okay, so I can see that this check might happen. So let's find a square for our king. So this king is always in the middle of these checks and stuff. So this could be my probably small improvement if I'm allowed. Because I really would like to defend this pawn with my knight, and okay, bishop b7. So this is a kind of way of trying to improve the bishop. This is a good, okay, this is definitely an interesting idea. I feel like it's quite slow, so it feels very slow. So let's go for the move I was mentioning. So I'm expecting the idea, yeah, exactly. So now I'm tempted to go queen c6, but I believe it's not the best move. But I might have some tricks. No, not yet. Okay, let's go with the move I was mentioning. So this, okay, I need to the bishop d7 is correct. All right, he plays good chess. Okay, let's go knight c6. If he trades, I'm more or less happy. More or less. Or, oh, trades, okay. But this is a very dangerous pass pawn. Okay, okay. Let's do this. Okay, maybe I can win with this pawn and knight f5, bringing. So this is quite annoying, but okay, he has to go here. Okay, no, decides to play a different move, which is also kind of possible. No, check him from somewhere. Okay, let's go with the check. This is going to end in the time. Okay, this is probably just the end of the game. Yeah. Well, it was a good fight, and I have this check, winning the queen. It was a very, very good fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can see he's 1900 player, but okay, you can see that his understanding is quite.
It was a very nice game, huh?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think today, yeah, unfortunately we have to stop because we have some other stuff to do. So, okay, we looked at the game played by Magnus, and I did play 2 games. Hopefully you can watch the replay. I talked about the game, John. So this way you can see what I was thinking about your moves. And about the game, but obviously you did extremely well. You fought well. I think you could have gotten better position at some point, but yeah, then maybe at some point you played 1 or 2 passive moves, and I had the chance to control the position. But till the end, it was not that clear to me. For example, here you should go d5, and it's still not the end, but obviously I can capture a pawn. I will try to organize an attack, but you're still fighting, so d5 would be obviously the best move in this position. So this was, unfortunately, after this and the game was already lost. So okay, it was a good game. You can see in replay the ideas or what I was mentioning about this game. All right.
Tigran, shall we send our fan on a raid on another streamer?
Yeah, you do that. You do
there were
great specialist.
There were a streamer mega battle arena in Lichess we missed totally.
Okay.
So there are a lot of people streaming right now because there were a battle about that. We should have a look. There is from Romania. Grandmaster Mircea Parligras.
Parligras, yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, it's a definitely good idea.
Guys, okay, so say hello from Tigran to Mircea.
Yeah, I know him.
And we see you tomorrow with Anthony. It will be in French, but we will do that some more times in English. It's great. So say hello to Grandmaster Parligras from Tigran. Bye bye. See you everybody. Ciao. Bye bye.
Bye everyone.